So here's an idea for some of you photographers out there that are loose for ideas over the weekend. Maybe it's a wet, rainy day like it was for me yesterday. I decided to take more pictures of my shells. Do you know what? I never thought I'd get to the day where I'd be sitting indoors on a Friday night taking pictures of shells. Anyway, this particular shell was featured on a video a few weeks back where I was showing you guys the Adox CMS 22 film, and I was taking photographs of shells, and someone said in the comments the photographs I took reminded me of Andreas Feininger. I'm sorry if I butchered that name and if it's offended anyone. I hope I've got it right. Andreas Feininger, is that right? Feininger? Anyway, I didn't have a clue who he was, guys. I had to Google it, and amazing photography, amazing photographs. I have seen a couple of his photographs in the past pop up, but I never took note of the name. Shame on me. I had to do a little bit of research on this guy's work, and sure enough, he was taking photographs of shells. He was taking them indoors, but what inspired me was he was taking photographs of shells outdoors as well, and I just suddenly thought, what a great idea. So my idea was to go down the beach and take some photographs of my own shells and put them in some nice locations and nice spots, getting real close up using a Nikon FM3A, a roll of Agfa APX 400 which expired in 2009, and this 55 micro Nikon lens that I've got. But a storm came over and it absolutely lashed down with rain. The sky went totally grey, the winds picked up, and I thought, oh well, that's that then, ain't it? But I had a bee in my bonnet. I really wanted to take some photographs, so I decided to have a little hunt around indoors to see what sort of backgrounds I could put this shell on, which I've done loads of times before. And then I thought, well, hang on a minute, why don't I get some of my film shots from seascapes that I've done in the past, put them on the computer and place the shell in front of the computer and take pictures that way. And the setup that I use is pretty simple. So you can see my computer screen behind me. I've just got some film shots of scapes that I've done over the years, picked a few out, and then just set this box up here nice and high. A couple of planks of wood that I've got, just stuff that I've got in my studio for backdrops and whatever. I've got some stones from outside in the car park, and I put my shell on that. And I proceeded to start to take some photographs. However, I did cheat. I used digital first just to see how it would look. And when I looked at the digital shots, I thought, blimey, this could actually look quite nice on film. So that's when I decided to then, okay, I'm good to go on film. I had to do a little bit of research on this guy's work, and sure enough, he was taking photographs of shells. I mean, the amount of times that I've had people portraits to do, and I've done them inside a studio, and sometimes I've taken them out on location as well, finding nice backdrops and whatever, nice lighting conditions. I thought, what a great idea to do that with some shells. I'll give you a little bit of history about this guy, what I found out on Google. It's quite inspiring. So Andreas Feininger was born in 1906, and he was a renowned American photographer and an influential writer on photographic techniques. He was born in Paris, and his father was the famous expressionist painter Lionel Feininger. So he obviously followed in his father's footsteps with creativity and visionary ideas. That's obviously where it came from in the genes. He worked as a photographer in Germany and was also a qualified architect until he left Europe for America in 1939 at age 33 and became a staff photographer for Life magazine. And from 1943 to 1962, he built his reputation as an excellent photographer. He was also fascinated in New York street life, and having an architectural background, he was interested in all the cityscapes and buildings. He was known for his striking black and white images of Manhattan and meticulous studies of natural objects such as shells and bones, etc. And he was also a skilled photojournalist, so this guy had it all going for him. And he also wrote many books on photography as well. These self-portraits of his are simply captivating. When you look at these self-portraits, I take a self-portrait, you know, like most of us might sit there with a camera or something, but these ones just look absolutely fantastic. The banging contrast, look at those blacks on some of these self-portraits that he took. But when I saw this guy's work, I did think to myself, wow, I really wouldn't mind trying that out down the beach, take some of my shells, some nice moody clouds, even take a little tiny light with me just to light the shell, so I can do what I want, but the weather has to be quite nice, right? So I've brought a couple of shells out with me to play around with around this key. They're quite delicate, so I've got to be careful not to break them, so I'm doing my best. But today's really windy, and just a minute ago I took a few shots of over there on the key side and the wind was blowing the shell, so I had to sort of put it in positions where it wasn't going to go into the water. It does make you wonder, doesn't it? You know, going back in the day, where these guys got their inspiration from. Phenomenal photographers, and they just come out with these fantastic ideas straight out of their heads, no doubt, and got on with it. Today it's easier for us. We can go online, we can research and see what other people have done in the past and think, oh, that's good, you know, and get a little bit of inspiration from it. And I think that's great. And you know, as long as you're maybe, I don't really want to copy anybody, I don't want to say this is like so and so, but it's just nice to see a bit of inspiration, something, or see something and get inspired by it and do your own thing. Before that, I was always indoors doing this sort of photography. I never really thought of bringing a shell out on location and taking photographs of it. Obviously I've done that with portrait photography, taken people out of the studio and put them in situations in the street or whatever and done portraits. That's a done thing. But with shell, when I saw that online, it really inspired me, and I thought maybe I can get some nice shots doing that. And I guess doing it indoors is probably great for a wet, windy day like it was yesterday when I was doing it. There's no way I'm going to get this shell balanced without it going, look, in the wind. Oh, what a pain. Is that going to, see, look, it's going. It's too windy. I was hoping I could put the shell on some things like, you know, walls and objects like this, but with this wind, I didn't think. I should have really bought some weights or something to put inside maybe. I don't want to break the shell, that's all. Shit on it. It nearly went in the water. I've got one. So they were scans of the negatives that I took earlier on and yesterday as well, and they come out okay. They're not fantastic, I know that, you know that, but it's a start. And I think sometimes if you can feel inspired by someone and you want to give it a go, give it a shot, give it your best shot, there's always room for improvement in anything you do. So I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do on a better day without the wind, because that was quite a distraction. I wasn't being able to put that shell wherever I wanted. It was just blowing everywhere. And not only that, using a scrim as well to stop the sun hitting that shell or any of my subjects, so I could just sort of diffuse it a little bit, or maybe use a little bit of artificial light as well. So when the better weather comes, I might try that again on location somewhere and see what I can come up with. Some of you guys might notice I haven't been in my darkroom recently. It's because it's been awful weather here in the UK. It's been raining most days for God knows how many months on end now. And my darkroom's out in the garden in a shed, so it's a little bit damp to say the least at the moment. Every time I go in there, it's just not enjoyable. So I haven't been going in the darkroom much recently, but as soon as the warmer weather starts coming in the next few weeks, I'll be able to get back in my darkroom, sort that out and start making some prints. And I can take those negatives out there and see what they look like on paper. But what an inspiration these guys were or are still, looking at their work. It's just phenomenal. Like I said earlier on, you look at their work and you think they didn't really have much, I don't think so anyway, much inspiration, not like we have today with YouTube and all the other social media. And what we see online, we get inspired so much. But how did those guys come up with these ideas back then? They just must have been so dedicated to their art form and so creative as well. But we are photographers and we enjoy what we do, whether we create stuff out of our own minds or whether we get inspired by other people and go ahead and try and emulate what they've done in the past in your own little way. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Thanks a lot for the guy that shouted out this, I can't remember his name. Thanks to the guy that pointed out Andreas Feininger to me. I had seen his pictures in the past, but like I said, I never really noted the name. And I don't even know who sent the comment. I did try to look today on that video through the comments, and I couldn't find it. So whoever you are, you must know who you are. Thanks very much for pointing that out to me, pointing me in that direction. And guys, check him out if you want to see some of his work. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great Easter weekend. Don't scoff yourselves too much with all that chocolate eggs and stuff, and I'll catch you next time.